20,000 roses are picked every single minute. And from the moment the stems are cut, it's a race against time to get them to the florists before they wilt faster than the passion that inspired their purchase. So, how do they do it? Roses are red, violets are blue. There's a gigantic factory in Holland growing flowers for you. Even before Romeo and Juliet, the rose's beauty made the flower sacred to Aphrodite, the Greek goddess of love. 2,500 years later, and it's still going strong. Almost 10 billion roses are sold every year. That many roses take a lot of growing. And much of it happens here, in the Netherlands, the world's premier producer of high-quality roses. Here at the Olij Rosen Flower Nursery, they have 6 greenhouses covering 60,000 square meters. Getting around can be time-consuming for the employees. So they do what the Dutch do best and take to 2 wheels. The techniques and the care here are the same as the most dedicated horticulturalist could lavish. But instead of dozens of rare breeds crafted by hand, there are just a handful of varieties, grown thousands at a time. If Volkswagen ran the Garden of Eden, it might look something like this. The hardest workers here don't really appreciate the aroma. Robots plant the individual clippings of rose plants destined to grow into the latest crop. And the soulless workers ruthlessly toss to one side the harvested bouquets, just like the girlfriends they're intended for. The greenhouses are a perfect artificial growing environment, but they haven't quite managed to get meddling Mother Nature completely out of the picture. Of course, as any gardener knows, nature can be a real pain in the neck when you're trying to grow roses. According to sales rep Peter Schramer, it's a jungle out there.
Worldwide, one of the biggest problems in the cultivation of cut roses is spider.
The tiny 2-spotted spider mite can destroy a whole crop in days. But there are no arachnophobes in this nursery. To hunt down the spider mites, they use other spider mites.
The way we kill the spider is to bring in other spiders, to kill the bad guys.
Inside these packets are the eggs of thousands of mites, commonly known as Phytoceolus persimilis. Once they're hatched, the war of the roses can begin. These natural predators of the spider mites will hunt their prey to extinction. After 2 months of greenhouse conditions, these hothouse flowers are 75 centimeters tall and ready to harvest. Of course, as soon as it's picked, a rose, tragically, starts to die. However, roses react differently to humans when it comes to decapitation. Whereas we just gurgle and leak, the roses actually grow as the plant channels stored energy into fighting the damage. But it's only delaying the inevitable. It's now a race against time to get the roses to shops around the world in 48 hours before this valuable harvest becomes unsellable. They come to one of the most extraordinary places on Earth. This is the biggest commercial building on the planet, the truly gigantic Aalsmeer flower market. It covers almost 1 million square meters. That's 7 times the size of the Pentagon. Nearly half of all the cut flowers bought and sold in the world come through this building. For international flower buyer Danny Vink, every day at the office is different.
It is quite exciting. It's very fast business. It's like nothing else. You have to get it right.
In this incredible market, almost 6 billion flowers are bought and sold every year. The market isn't just big, it's wildly frenetic. Remember, those flowers have to get to where they're going before they start to wilt. Their fate will be decided here, in the auction rooms. This is the Wall Street of the flower world. Wholesale buyers make deals worth thousands of euros on over 20,000 varieties of flowers. On the computerized display, buyers can see all the information about each shipment in a matter of seconds, from breed to number of stems per container. The actual orders wheeling past on automated racks are just a sideshow. With 40,000 transactions a day, no one here has time to stop and smell the roses. The buyer tracks the price on the dial on his desk, and when it comes down to what he's prepared to pay, he just presses a button. In just 4 hours of auction, over 20 million flowers have been sold. The customer for these roses is in London, so just 10 hours after these blooms were picked, they're on their way to England. Racing through the Channel Tunnel, it takes just 7 hours to travel the 357 kilometres to New Covent Garden Flower Market in London. Covent Garden has come a long way since the days of Eliza Doolittle. For a start, it's not in Covent Garden anymore. And second, it's an awful lot bigger. At 30,000 square metres, this is the biggest flower market in the UK. Exactly 24 hours after these roses were picked, flower wholesaler Dennis is hoping to rustle up some trade for his new blooms. He's not selling by the dozen. He's looking for trade customers like independent florists Athena and Mairead. If you thought being a florist just meant flower arranging, think again. To get the pick of the bunch, they have to wake up well before dawn. So, girls, next time some bloke buys you flowers, just remember the enormous effort that went into getting them to you.